Welcome back to ELD with Meeks and Bradley. We're going to be covering some more plural nouns. So in our type of plural nouns, we covered just the simple forms of S and ES last week. So just a quick recap, nouns again are people, places, things, and ideas. If you're not familiar with those or you need more practice, you can go back to some of our previous week videos and review them there. So, getting into some of our other rules, when we have nouns ending in Y, there are two different endings that we're going to be discussing. One is the S, which we use just adding the S if there is a vowel before the Y. So, quick recap, vowels are A, E, I, O, and U. And I'll keep recapping those as we go through the slides and the videos, just so we make sure we know what our vowels are. So the word boy, you'll see here, here's our Y, there's our vowel, so all we need is our S. So let's do some practice. So here we have, again, looking for that combination. So we want to make sure we have our vowels before our Y, so A, E, I, O, and U. So let's make sure we have them. There's our A, our E, all before the Y. So we're going to have an easy way of making these nouns plural, just adding the S. So 1 day or 5 days in a work week. Then we have valleys. And again, just adding that S, probably learning a lot more, paying attention to spelling. A lot of us native speakers, we take it for granted. We grow up doing this and we don't realize that there's actually rules and patterns. You will have all this extra knowledge. And then trays. So if you're carrying food on trays at lunchtime. Toys. And for sake of space, I'm going to put joys over here. Joys. All right, so again, on your notes, I recommended this last week as well. Take the time to spell each word individually all the way through. It's very tempting to just want to write down all the nouns and go S, 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 but this will just help you with your spelling. So what happens if the letter before a Y is not a vowel? In English, we call these consonants, okay? So these are all the other letters in the alphabet that are not a vowel. So for example, the letter P, not a vowel. So what we do is we're gonna take this Y and we're gonna take it out and then we're gonna replace it with I-E-S. So you'll notice that the Y, usually kids grow up learning, change the Y to an I and add ES. In this case, we're teaching you change it to IES. So same rule, just a different way of learning it. So let's do some practice there. So again, as long as the letter before the Y is not a vowel. So there's that word again, consonant means not a vowel or any letter other than a vowel. So for example, we have a D here, another D, a T in city, an M, another M, and an R. So notice all letters that are not vowels. So we're gonna take these Y's, we're gonna drop them, and then we're gonna add our I-E-S. So bodies, and again, somewhere on your notes, if you're using one of our worksheets or just writing in a notebook of your own, take that time. Candies. What's better than one piece of candy? Many candies. Then we have cities. And again, I'm dropping that Y and replacing it with the I-E-S. Army or armies. And our last two, academies and victories. So acad, take taking off that Y and adding IES, and victories. If you play sports, what's better than one victory? Many victories. And then just double check that spelling. The IES, we want to make sure they're all there, no Y's in place, and all replaced with our IES. All right, so double check, and if you want to, you can try to think of some of your own, add them there, but we'll be using those in later activities. So now what happens with O's? Similar rules with the vowels and the consonants. So again, if there is a vowel, so going back to our A, E, I, O, and U, we're just gonna add S. This is because we don't want too many vowels in English. We don't pronounce all our vowels all the time. So here we have our vowel, which is an E. There's our ending in an O, and we added the S. So from rodeo to rodeos. So for some practice here, so again, if there is a vowel, A, E, I, O, and U, you're gonna know your vowels by the time this lesson is over. So let's take a look. There's my I, an extra O, another I, another O, and an E, and they all have an O at the end. So according to this rule, to make these nouns plural, we're just gonna add the S. So let's take a look. Portfolios. I like this slide. I have spaces to write in. Portfolios. So there's my S added. Zoos, one of my favorite things to do with my own kids. Visit the zoos. Radios. Kangaroos, I've never seen one up close. Kangaroos, but I hear they're very fierce. Kangaroos and videos. So again, you'll notice just adding the S at the end of each one because there's already two vowels, right? I-O, O-O, I-O, O-O, and E-O. So double check your spelling, make sure it's just the S at the end. Now, back to our consonants, right? That word consonant is any letter that's not a vowel. So when we have a consonant, like in mango or mango, depending on how you pronounce it, we have the letter G. That's our consonant before our O. So we're gonna add the ES this time because we have the room for the extra vowel. So there's my consonant, there's my O, there's my ES that makes mango, mangoes, nice and plural. So a little bit of practice again. So there's our consonant, and again, we're adding ES. So let's take a moment to look at the consonants in our words. So in piano, N is a consonant. T, another N in domino. The letter G and the R, all non-vowels. So we have O's at the end of each of them. So we're gonna go ahead and add in that ES in our spelling. So pianos. Tomatoes. Dominoes. Flamingos. These I have seen up close. Flamingos. And heroes. So again, we have all those consonants before our O's. So when we double check after each O, we have our ES, 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 at the end of each. So pianos, tomatoes, dominoes, flamingos, and heroes. So if you have any questions, again, you can leave them in the comments, maybe direct message. If you're in our classes, make sure you see one of your teachers. We'll see you again next week.